This foot here, we have a very good example of a hairy wart. She's got a hairy wart in this area here. I'm gonna show you why I scrape them off and why it's a good idea to scrape them off. This is not skin, this is some warty tissue. So, for those of you that are new to my channel, I've got a truck here that has a hoof trimming chute on it, hydraulic, and it tips the cow on their side, and then you restrain their legs for their safety and mine, and then you trim them. This chute works really well because the cows just kind of lay there. They don't mind laying on their side. That's a question a lot of people ask. It's a very good question. They don't mind it at all. Actually, some of them prefer it. I've had a cow laying on here waiting for a vet once. She fell asleep. So a lot of cows lay on their sides in freestalls and stuff. Anyway, so this chute has hydraulic levers, and it's operated by pressing one of these activator buttons, which I have one up on this arm here too. This is what I use for the pusher and for the head catch. You can see the head catch over on the chute there, hopefully. Open, shut. And it's operated by this, and this also operates this pusher, which pushes the cow into the chute, because otherwise, oh, and there's calves behind me if you're wondering what the noise is. Anyway, so you run them through my lane here. I carry all these gates with. It's a pain in the butt to carry gates with, but it's well worth it for the cows' safety and my own safety, because the cows like to move in groups. I can bring 5 or 6 at a time. They follow the leader, and then they're in here without any hassle. The first group that I'm trimming, I don't know what there is in this group, no idea. There's over 20 in there for the first group. I think we're gonna do 3 or 4 groups today. But anyway, as far as trimming goes, one of the most crucial things is the setup, because without a proper setup, you're risking injuring the cows. And bringing gates with ensures that I'm able to give the best possible care to the cows, for the cows and the farmer's sake. Anyway, let's trim some cows. See what she's got going on. This foot here, we have a very good example of a hairy wart. She's got a hairy wart in this area here. I'm going to show you why I scrape them off and why it's a good idea to scrape them off. Now, I'm not saying that anybody else's opinion is wrong. I'm just saying that in my experience, scraping it off is the best option for them overall, right away and in the long run. I'm gonna show you why. Okay, now watch. She's not flinching out right now. Watch when I touch this. See that? She does not like that to be touched. This isn't a knife. This is just, see, it's not comfortable. She's got to walk on that all day. Now, this isn't even a bad wart. This one is fairly mild, but you can see just from my finger it's bleeding already. So that means if she bumps it all, it's gonna bleed anyway. So what I do is I scrape this excess warty tissue. It's not even her flesh. It's warty tissue that I'm scraping off when I scrape it off. Now, we're gonna get to that in a second. Now when you take that off, you can touch it all you want and she won't flinch. Actually, before we get to trimming, let's show you this. This is the other foot that that I didn't notice. So that one's the one that we were just messing with, and this is the other foot. Now, another thing I want everybody to keep in mind is that these cows are on pasture. They've been on pasture for a little while now, and they're gonna be on pasture all summer. So you still get warts, hairy warts, even when cows are on pasture. See, what I usually do with spray it off with iodine before I scrape into it to, you know, to ease the pain, because it has lidocaine in it. And I'm not trying to cause the cow pain here. What I'm trying to do is help her. Let's see. So this is the dull edge of the knife that I'm scraping with. It's not the sharp end. Sharp end's right here. Sometimes, like on this, I use the hook on the edges to be more precise. Again, I'm not cutting into the live tissue here. This is warty tissue. This is not skin. This is some warty tissue. Let's just be perfectly clear on that. She's got just a tiny bit of a corn in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray that down too, because you need to get rid of that. That's not comfortable to have in between your toes. And I'm not saying this to be a dick. I'm not saying it like this to be a dick at all. I'm just trying to be upfront, honest, and show you my method, which I learned from somebody that's been doing it for, you know, 20 some years, and a bunch of other people have been doing this for a long time. I'm not the only one that scrapes them off. It's not an American thing. It's just what I find works best. It's another thing that I haven't done well at explaining. I used to own a herd of dairy cows myself. I had like 50 or 60 cows for about 5 years. I'm not gonna get into the details of why I'm not doing it anymore. I owned cows, I had hoof trimmers out. I saw what worked, I saw what didn't work. As a farmer, I saw it, because I was a farmer. And anyway, we're not gonna get into the farming stuff right now. That's a story for a different day. But this is what I've seen works best. This is the best thing for the cow. This is the best thing for the farmer. For me, it takes longer. If I was just trying to go through and make a quick buck, this isn't the way to do it. The way to do it is just wrap it up and go. It's easy enough to do. I could easily do that if that's what was best. I would do it if that's what was best, in my opinion. I'm not saying that when other people do it a different way, it's wrong. Let's make that perfectly clear. There's many different ways to do this. So it also has a small corn in here, just a tiny one. Now with iodine, I don't like to spray it off with iodine after I scrape. I like to do it before. After, with the medication that I use, the iodine causes a problem with healing. I've tried with iodine after, I've tried without. I personally don't like iodine. Not to say that iodine-based stuff doesn't work, but it doesn't work with the medication that I use. Again, dull end of the knife, scraping. I try and make it as quick and pain-free as possible, because at the end of the day, people can say what they want about my hoof trimming method, but I want what's best for the cow. I love cows. I've always loved cows. I spent the last, I think I've been around cows since I was born. My dad owned cows. After that, I milked cows. After that, I started hoof trimming. I've been around cows for 25 years. I love cows. If I didn't love cows, I'd be doing something else, because other stuff pays a lot better than dealing with cows. But there's just something about it that a person loves. Okay, so it's a different cow. Well, this one has a wart here, and I'm gonna take the edge of the knife, so you can, or actually I'm gonna just take my fingers so you can see it. When I touch it, it's painful. See? She does not like that when I touch it. She's flinching, does not like that. And see? Okay, so we can agree touching that wart causes pain. Walking on that wart causes pain. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape it off, treat it normally, and show you the after effects. I'm not gonna show you the trimming of the cow or anything, just showed you that. I'm gonna show you before and after scraping that. Actually, I'm just gonna do it right now before I trim her. Spray it with some iodine. Calves are kind of annoying. Anyway, let's scrape this off though. Dull side of the knife again. You can see she's not flinching. See that right there? So that seems, There's a little bit more here I want to get rid of right here. So I'll use the tip of the knife for that. See that? That's warty tissue coming off right here. It's warty tissue. It's not skin. Anyway, now watch as I touch this. I'm gonna make sure my finger's clean. I just want to show you that this is the best thing for the animal's welfare. So here we go. Got iodine on my finger. See that? Nothing. No flinching, nothing. I'm rubbing really freaking hard and nothing. She's not flinching. So my point with all of this is I know it looks bad scraping this up. I get that. I get that it looks bad. When I first started training, I thought the same thing until Mark showed me this. The guy that trained me showed me this. He said, watch this before and after. You get some really nasty warts that have long hairs. This one's not bad. You get some really bad ones, it's far more noticeable. You'll barely touch it. They'll flinch like freaking crazy. And then you scrape it off. As long as you don't go too deep and go into the flesh, which I'm not doing, I never do. Sorry, I'm just a little wound up because when other people question the animal's welfare under my care, it irritates me a little bit because I love the cows so much and I want what's best for them and I do what's best for them. So just bear with me as I bitch a little bit. But the whole point of scraping it off is to cause instant relief when they walk out of the chute. As far as straight comfort out of the chute, if I let her go right now with no medication, she'd be far more comfortable now than when she came in. It would probably become infected or something because it's an open wound, but putting medication on there to help it heal and letting her go, it's the optimal situation for healing this wart. And there's different ways to do it. I've just found this is the way that causes the least amount of discomfort for the cow. I'm not saying that other ways don't also do that because I want to make that very clear. I know that a lot of you guys probably also watch the Hoof GP. If you're new to my channel or you've seen my videos and just haven't subscribed because you don't think I care about the cows, let me assure you I care about the cows. I care about my job so much and I want to make that perfectly clear that scraping these warts off, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, some vets, other hoof trimmers, to be perfectly frank, nobody's an expert on warts. Nobody. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's an expert on warts. Nobody's an expert on anything in life. Nobody knows what's going on with this COVID situation. Nobody knows how the human brain works. Nobody knows what's going on in outer space. Let me make that perfectly clear. The entire human race is not that bright. I might get flack for that. It's all right. It's just my opinion. Because I believe that people put far too much faith in hierarchy, in powers that be, like governments and associations and schools and colleges and everything else. Now hear me out. I think they're all a great idea. We need them. But when you're looking at something that you really don't know much about, like a hairy wart, the best and brightest people in the world are not working on cows' hairy warts. There's no experts in it. Even if the best and brightest worked on it, it would take years to truly understand it. Now, in my opinion, the people that you need to look to are hoof trimmers as far as this goes. Because in 1 week, if I work on 300-400 cows, and the guy that trained me works on 400-500 cows, and everybody else, we're seeing so many cows week after week after week in the field, different farm situations, sand bedding, sawdust, sledded floors, bedded packs, pasture, no bedding. I mean, just different large dairies, small dairies, tie stalls. There's so many different situations that we see, and you can't cover all of that in research on warts. You can't. The world is complicated. I'm gonna put it that way. I think that's about, this entire world is complicated, and we're all just trying to do our best. And I really believe that this is what's best for the cow. Scraping it off, applying medication, because they almost all heal. If they didn't heal, I would be fired. If I went through and treated, let's say a farm has, let's just say I trim 80 cows and 25 of them have warts. If I treated 25 cows with warts and they paid me to do that, pay me well, each wrap is $5, the trim is $13, each block I place on is $20. Now, if I did a shitty job, I would be fired. I don't know how much more clear to make that. These guys have hired me as a young hoof trimmer who, I mean, I don't look like I have a lot of experience. Look at me. I look young and stupid. And these farmers put their faith in me to heal their cows. And once they do, once they give me a shot, they're almost always happy. Now, with this cow is gonna heal up. She's gonna be perfectly fine, and I'll maybe do a video of some cows that are closer to home where I can go and check back in like a few days and see how they're doing and show you guys before and afters. I want you guys to know that I care. I care about your opinions. I care about the cows. I care about the farmers. And I care about hoof trimming in general. I just wanna, there's different perspectives on everything. Graham's not wrong. I'm not wrong. Other hoof trimmers aren't wrong. We do what works best for us. Hoof GP, great source for information. I'm also a great source for information. The guy that trained me is a great source for information. There's certain things at universities and everything else. I really like how everybody's kind of gotten together and put terms on different areas of the foot. That's something I really appreciate from universities and certain hoof specialists, is naming everything so we know what we're talking about when we talk about certain areas of the foot. We're not just saying, oh, the outside wall or the inside wall, or, you know, there's certain zones, there's certain names. I just hope that you guys, you trust me. You give me a shot to show you. I know I haven't done the best job of explaining, but like explaining like this probably loses a lot of viewers. So I'm just trying to keep you entertained.